All right, welcome everyone to my live demo that I'm going to be recording here. I am reporting from day 4 of our school closure in the Issaquah School District due to COVID-19 pandemic. And so what I'm going to do here is walk through this Smartsheet dashboard and task list that I set up for my 10-year-old daughter. I work for Smartsheet. I will say that, full disclaimer, I am not a product expert. I'm on our corporate marketing team and I do event marketing. I'm not on the product team. However, I use Smartsheet every day, and I've found this to be very helpful for my daughter as school was closing and her school didn't have a 100% digital resources for her to do her schoolwork. So this was our way of kind of organizing the information for her and for her to self-serve and kind of keep her own routine as school is closed. So to start off, I guess maybe let's back up and take a look at kind of where this started, because it didn't start in a dashboard form, right? So before I put everything into a dashboard, before I put everything into Smartsheet, it started with something like this. And I'm sure everyone has something similar where maybe it starts with a to-do list in your iPhone in the notes section. And then I decided to kind of put a framework to her task lists for each day. And so in school, what they have is something called a catch-up versus pickles, or ketchup and pickles. Catch-up stands for items that they need to catch up on, like schoolwork, some like required items. And so for us, that's us, doing as much as we can of school, as well as physical activity, stimulating items, as well as her daily chores. So that's kind of her catch up list. And then the pickles list is items that they can pick. And so a lot of this is, screen time or kind of extracurricular things. And so the idea is that she has to finish the catch up list before she gets to the pickles list. And then we have no TV time between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. So first started with a list, then it went into just kind of jotting down, okay, how do we block out this time to keep her busy throughout the day? And I also thought about as a working mom as well, okay, I'm going to need to be helping my daughter with school, and there's going to be some of these items that she's not going to be able to do on her own, right? Reading she can do on her own. Drawing and writing, for the most part, she can do those on her own. She's 10, but the schoolwork packet that they sent and the clever math and some of the programs that she's using online, she's got questions and she needs help, and I wanted to make her feel supported, and so I kind of kind of massaged the schedule a little bit so I could balance work, knowing that, if I could help her at the beginning of the day with the afternoon activities being a little more self-serve, I thought that that would help me as well in balancing work, and my husband also kind of taking shifts. So before we get to the Smartsheet piece, this is where it all started, and I think my guess is a lot of parents out there have something like this right now. Okay, so once I had the schedule, I started to kind of put things into Smartsheet. So let's talk about Smartsheet. If you don't already have Smartsheet experience, there's a 30-day trial. You can try for free without a credit card for 30 days. And so this is a great way to try it, and you can create all of the things that I created in Smartsheet. So it's just www.smartsheet.com. Okay, so let's kind of go under the hood of this. So let's first kind of look through all of these different components, and then I'm going to go under the hood and show you exactly how I created everything. So a dashboard is simply, for I would say for enterprise audiences, a lot of times we build like executive roll-up dashboards, right? So your leadership team or your executive leader needs to see kind of rhythm of the business and regular reporting on how things are progressing in their business. And so that's where a lot of these dashboards will come in handy, because you can kind of roll up and aggregate information from a lot of different sources. But in this case, we called it Ella's Home Ketchup and Pickles Dashboard. So up at the top here, you can add widgets, and you can add, like, we call them widgets, but in this case, they're just images. For the top here, the top banner, they're just individual images, and I added her school colors, and you can add, different colors of the rainbow here just for their kind of background color. But I decided to add more kind of spirit and flair to it because she was really missing school, and it was very apparent that she was starting to feel really detached and overwhelmed. So I decided to kind of add these personal elements to it versus making it just this to-do list, and making it fun for her. And so at the top here, these are just images. I'm going to show you how you pull the date in. There's a picture from her in her classroom. And then this is really what she focuses on day to day. And what I mentioned was originally on a piece of paper, and we put into this. And so I'll talk about how I've published this sheet in order to get it into this dashboard. But as you can see, it's a very simple spreadsheet user interface, very familiar. And I'm able to kind of group these by parent and child. So when she's done with an activity, or when she's done, sorry, with a segment of this work, she can just collapse it if she wants. So really between the hours of about 7:30 and 9 o'clock, she's responsible for getting ready for the day. And I've set up conditional formatting here to cross off once it's completed. And then starting at 9 o'clock, no TV. Screen time is okay during breakfast, but we do no TV. And then she goes right into schoolwork. These little emojis, you can just copy and paste really any image, or you can put anything into these cells. And so these all just kind of check off. As soon as you check off, they cross out. And her day is done for the day. She's done with her chores, and she's currently outside playing in the nice weather. And then I've also added the pickles list here, so she doesn't have to go to another location to find pickles, things that she can pick. And so like she gets to pick from the pickle list during her break time, during her free time here. So she can go down and say, okay, what's on my pickles list again? Things that I can do. So calling somebody, or riding her bike, or things like that. And so so this is a very simple way just to use Smartsheet in a very simple form of inputting or adding your data to a sheet, and tracking it, whether it's a task list. In this case, it's her ketchup and pickles list for the day, and this is really keeping her structured, and also this feeling of like achievement and accomplishment, because she's checking these things off herself. Below, I've added meals here. So again, I'm trying to make this as self-serve as possible. These little things here are just images, again, that I added. So if I go to edit, it's just an image that I inserted can be from your computer, it could be from Google Drive, and I just saved like screenshots from the internet and then put them in here. Very simple. Breakfast and snacks, I just put on here, what's available, what we have, so she can self-serve as well. Pick your lunch menu here. So this is something else I made just to create some fun and a little and more self-serve as well. So sometimes, when she orders lunch at school, she's able to kind of pick from a menu. And so in this case, what we've done here is just, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. This is also in another sheet. It's separate from the pickles and ketchup sheet. It's just meals sheet, and then I've converted it into a form so she can pick what she wants for lunch tomorrow. I'll just do a test one, and you can see how this shows up. I've made it so it goes to my email. Let's say she's going to pick for tomorrow's lunch. We're going to pick a sandwich, and we'll submit my lunch selection, and I'm able to customize the message here and have it reload as well. I can select that. So thank you for your lunch selection. Love, Mom. And then I'll show you where this goes as well. So I've set a notification to send to myself when she picks that. And then I just decided to add more images to keep her feeling connected to her classmates and encouragement. She also is in the choir, so her choir teacher sent out resources where they can still practice the music that they were planning on doing at concerts, and hopefully maybe they get to do them at some point. If not, she still enjoys practicing them. And then we've got the lyrics over here. She's done a couple of group chats with friends, and they all are in choir and they've practiced. So that's pretty cool. So all of these, I'll show you how I link these as well, but link here, you can link anything, really anything that has a URL. And then this one here is a little special. So this is a doc that I'm linking out to. And you're essentially like adding a shortcut. So this is just another way to add a link. This is one way to display it. I just made it more prominent for her. And then down here are some other extracurriculars. So one other thing that she was supposed to be doing over these next couple weeks was getting ready for her Blue Belt promotion. She currently does karate, and she has been doing that for a few years now. And right here, what I've done is just kind of summarized everything that she needs to know for the Blue Belt promotion. So even though the promotion may or may not happen in this next, few months, we still want to prepare for it, and we still have her practice for this as a part of her daily activities. And so I've just put everything here. And again, the idea is to aggregate all of the information so she's not looking all over and, YouTube links and everything. It just makes it a one-stop shop. And so the really cool thing about dashboards is you're able to, again, we call these widgets, but you're able to embed things. And in this case, from YouTube, right? So I have these katas that she does. I'll just take a look here. Oh, let me show you this one. So Henidan kata is the one that she's supposed to be practicing, and I've just embedded it. I've selected the URL directly from YouTube. You don't even need the embed link. All you just need is the link itself, and then you can once that's in here, you can change the size of it so it's responsive, right? So it can be as small or as large as you'd like it. I made these just a little large so she could have this open and practice at the same time, or she can have it open in another window so you can see this. We can still go to very large screen. Okay, we're gonna get out of that. Okay, so that's pretty much it from the dashboard perspective. Let's see, anything else that I can add on here that I want to share with you? Widgets. So again, metrics and charts. I'm not using them in this scenario. I could add a metric where it's counting how many days in exile we've been, or how many days we've been in school closure, or how many tasks she's completed, or how many hours of work, or I could do some fun, charts and BI. I'm not really doing that at this point. And then the web content for other folks that are not using this for their child, you could do Power BI, Tableau, and a lot of other integrations that we have as well. Okay, so from here, or before I go to that, let me actually, you know what? Let's go under the hood here. So within Smartsheet, we've got this left panel menu here that's going to pull up. This is recents. This is my home. These are things that you could favorite, and then this is adding a new asset. So in this case, there's a workspace that I've created just for her assets. And I'm using my personal email and not my work email for this. And so, oh, I'm not going to share. We're going to create, so as I mentioned, a workspace. So a workspace is going to be a good place to start where you can put all of your sheets and dashboards. So these are sheets. That's the list that I referenced. This is your dashboard, and then some other sheets as well. So all you really need to worry about for this use case are just the dashboard and some sheets. And there's a lot of other templates in here that you could use as well. So you would just create a workspace, and then once your workspace is created, just like this, you would, within here, you want to create a grid or a sheet, and then you also want to create a dashboard. So starting with step one, the first thing I did was start a sheet here. So I'm going to delete these that have been checked off. So very, very simple user interface is a spreadsheet like user interface with a lot of, functionality up here. So some things that are really cool that I've added to this is conditional formatting. So once you have all of your fields in start, end time, or activity, it's really easy to insert columns, insert left and right, add another row if you wanted to. Okay, welcome back. I was getting some feedback on audio and had to stop the first recording. So I'm going to pick up where I left off here. So within this sheet, there's a couple of cool things that I've done here, and that's create conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is really a function that you can use here. It's kind of like an if-then rule. So the rules that I have in place here are if done is checked, and you could pick unchecked, or if something else is checked or not checked. So in this case, if done is checked, apply this format. It's a strike through format here, and then I've got it set to a light gray to the entire row. So you can apply it to any of the columns, but in this case, I've just had it apply to the entire row. And then in this one, I put if the type of activity is ketchup, and in this case, ketchup is red, I'm having it turn red in the type column, and then very similar for the pickles column, so she can see which one's a ketchup versus which one is a pickle. And that's it. It's pretty simple. The emojis are not something that is included in Smartsheet, but like I said, you can add any image into any of these cells. You can import, a huge image if you wanted to, or you can limit it to a more smaller size depending on your column size. So that is her list, and what I've done for the dashboard is I've published this so she can edit it in her dashboard. So she doesn't have to go into the sheet to check it off. She can edit it right in her dashboard. So I've made it only available to users in my account, which she's also using the same account. And then only these authorized users can edit this. You can also make it available to anybody with a link. And then I published this, I used this publish link in the dashboard. So actually, let's take a look at how I did that. So here's her dashboard. I'm going to go to edit. And then we're going to take a look at, because it looks like the sheet's right in here, right? So let's go to the link that I have in here. And this is a published link, right? So you first have to publish your sheet. You can see there's a published user that's now viewing it. And that's also me. um, and that's the link that's here. Okay. One other note here, you'll see that some of these columns are locked. They're locked so she cannot change these. So she can't change the TV time. The only thing that she can edit here is the done column. And then also one thing to note here is you can share there's 4 different types of users that you can share to. There's an admin, there's an editor that can share, there's an editor that cannot share, and there's also view only access, but you can share your Smartsheet or your dashboard with anyone. So if there's anybody else in the family, they don't have to be licensed users in order to share that. Okay, so back to kind of under the hood, this home page here. So we looked at the daily ketchup and pickles list. The dashboard is also in here, so we have that open on another tab. And then we have the lunch option. So this is, as I mentioned, so these are all the submissions that she has already made, and there was the test one that I did. And so how I set this up, so very simple, you just create a sheet that first starts off as blank. And then for this one, you're going to edit what type of column this is. So it can be free text, a contact list. In this case, it's a date. It could be a drop-down list. It could be symbols. It can be a checkbox like the other sheet that you saw. And then for the lunch selection, I've already pre-populated what her options are here. So you could do multiple select if you wanted to. You could do free text if you wanted to. But in this case, where it's COVID-19, so we have very limited lunch options here. It's still a good set of options, but it's the most easiest to have at the ready and kind of have pre-prepared. So there's 4 options that she's going to be able to pick from, and I'm restricting the drop-down values only. So when I first started this sheet, there was no data in these fields. But the really cool thing about Smartsheet is that you can associate a form or an intake with any sheet. So in this case, it takes less than a few minutes. I'm going to show you how I did that. So I again remember these fields were not in here in the cells. All I did was set up how I wanted my columns. So managing forms, you create a form or a manage form. In this case, I'm going to show you how I created it. So this is how I've set up the form builder. There's a title, there's a required option for which day that she's picking lunch, and I can use a custom label, or I can use a label that I've already put into the sheet, and you can add help text. And then there's pick your lunch selection. And then I put help text here. And I decided to do these radio buttons. You can see what it looks like as a drop down. And then I also made this a required field as well. What other options here? There's some other headers and file upload for other use cases. And then here's where I added a custom message and then had it reload. So should she want to order lunch for 2 days in a row? In this case, I don't need a confirmation email. There's a couple different styles that you can use. And I have embedded this into the dashboard. So I'm going to cancel that. But if I wanted to create a new form, this is how it starts. So it's going to pull in your column fields automatically. And then from there, you just customize, just like we did. And then I should go back to the dashboard to show you how I embedded the form. So this is also a content widget. So the same content widget where I embedded the live links to like YouTube and a couple other things. So this is an actual just URL that I've embedded in, and the actual form itself is also customizable. You don't need to make it small or large. You can make it fit exactly how you want it to fit. And your URL is going to be right there. And that's it. That's really the main things that you need to kind of build. And it took me, a couple hours. I waited till she went to sleep one night and um, built this. And as I mentioned, it's helped her kind of organize her tasks for the day, and it's helped, with um, just kind of the sense of being overwhelmed. I think there's a lot of, oh, computer's going to die, a lot of unknowns and a lot of kind of anxiety and things that kids are having to deal with not being at school. And this has really helped her. Oh, one thing I missed. So I'm just seeing it now. So the lunch options, as I mentioned, I added automation too. So when rows are added, I had it alert me. And so let's see what this looks like. So this is a very, very simple workflow. As you can see, you can add additional conditions and when to send it and all of that. But I have this set up so when a new row is added to the lunch list, it sends me an email. So I can see what she's ordered for lunch if she wants to do that during her school time. And then this is what that looks like. And I've customized this message too to say Ella's lunch selection received. And she's ordered a sandwich, fruit, and carrots. Or we did. It was a test one that we submitted. Okay, so again, I think hopefully this helps other parents out there. I know I've gotten some questions from other folks that are doing their best during these school closures and during this COVID-19 pandemic. And I hope that this is helpful for people and that everyone is staying safe out there. Thanks, everyone. Bye.